obviously the topic of conversation yesterday was the quarterback switch. I talked to all the parties involved yesterday morning, and then they quickly got back to work and did Tuesday things where they were getting ready for the week. And so we have a switch in roles, but it should come as no surprise to anybody that that's been a great relationship since the day we drafted Daniel. They've both helped each other. They're both preparing to play if they have to play, and they both assist each other, whoever the one is playing. And I think that's what we can expect from Eli. When you're talking about people and emotions and those conversations, I'm going to keep that between me, certainly, and Eli. You can go back on any presser I've done and find the words that I've said about him all along, and that hasn't changed. So that's where we're at. Daniel's our starter. Eli will back him up, and we're moving forward. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Do you believe that Daniel Jones is the better quarterback right now?
Daniel Jones is ready to play, and we're going with him. Yes. And the reason I say that is because we do everything we can to win football games, and at this point, we feel like he's the guy we want to move forward with.
When did you come to that decision? What did you factor?
I've been thinking about all this. I think about all this stuff all the time. But when the game was over, and again, it's not all about Eli. It's about there's other factors involved. Our team, where we're at, and moving forward. But certainly, the most of the thought for me happened after the game.
What made now the right time? Because there's certainly people who thought that if you brought Eli Manning back and you paid Eli Manning to be the starting quarterback, that 2 games isn't enough of a window.
You know what? I don't see that. I don't understand that narrative because, Daniel Jones is going to have the benefit of, to start here, 14 games of a guy that's done it. I mean, this guy is what a Giant exemplifies, not only as a player, but as a person. And he's going to have the benefit of this guy's assistance as we go through it. So my gut told me it was the right time, but that narrative that you don't bring Eli back, I think that's just something for us all to talk about.
Who had to sign off on this decision?
Well, I certainly made the decision, and I had the conversation with all the parties involved. And at some point, they said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm sure."
Does that include Dave and John?
Yep, absolutely. You don't do these things without talking to the people that you just mentioned, and Steve, and so on.
Do you believe that the move could jumpstart this football team?
Listen, we're trying to win a football game, and we feel like along the way here, Daniel Jones has showed us that when he gets his opportunity, he's going to play well, and that's where we're at.
Obviously, you got drafted in the 6th, so you like him a lot. But did anything he do from the day you drafted him until, I guess, yesterday, in your mind say, you know what, this is faster, that he's more ready than maybe I thought, that we could put him in week 3 as opposed to, waiting for him?
Well, we're going to see. I mean, he's going to play in his first regular season game Sunday against Tampa at 4 o'clock. And so we'll see. But to this point, I think it's safe to say in our minds, he's checked off all the boxes and everything that we've asked him to do. And so we'll get him ready to play, put a plan together that he can utilize, and we'll go to work.
When you would play the quarterback gave you the best chance to win. You said that all summer. You said that right now you think Daniel is that guy.
Yeah.
What changed from week 4 of the preseason to Tuesday that Jones jumped Eli? What did you see that made?
Yeah, I think it's just was my gut that it was time to make that move. I think when you draft a guy like, when you draft a guy like we did, at some point, and that was part of my conversation. At some point, this was going to happen, and I just felt like this was the time.
How do you fully expect Eli to be with this organization through the end of the season? There have been some speculation that maybe.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Based on what I heard yesterday and based on what I saw today, he's doing everything in his power to be ready to play if he has to go in, and he's doing everything in his power to help Daniel get ready. And I don't foresee anything that would make me think he won't be here.
Usually when a team goes to a younger quarterback, they try to trim the playbook a little bit. In this case, does Daniel open
No, I think there's certain plays, and again, you try to run plays against the team you're going to face. We did some things against Buffalo that we didn't take full advantage of that would have helped us win that football game. Every play that goes in, the quarterback that's running that play has a little different interpretation of it, and his eyes will go some place sometimes slower or quicker than others. And so, to answer your question, he's got the ability to run our full offense.
Now, will the offense look any different, or will it look pretty much the same as it
Yeah, I mean, it should look the same. I mean, schematically, I'll let the changes in tactics reveal themselves, so to speak. But we want to get more. We want to score more points, and I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for better results. If that's fair.
Pat, I understand your day-to-day week with the head coach of this football team, but in terms of speaking with Eli yesterday, were you at all struck by the weightiness of that moment, of what he has been here, what he has represented here, and that he may have taken his final snap, at least as a starting quarterback for this organization?
Yeah, I'm well aware of all that, and but those were we were two guys talking that had a good relationship, and I think I've said it all along. Eli's closer to 40 than he is 20. And so that's how it all started. I sort of knew what I wanted to say when he walked in yesterday morning, but it kind of changed on the run for me because just the naturalness of two people talking, and he quickly left and got to work doing Tuesday things, and so that's just the way it goes.
Was he more emotional than you during the conversation?
I think it was equal.
Pat, you've also said that in the past that you thought he had years remaining. Has anything you've seen these first 2 weeks changed your thought on if he does decide he wants to play, how long he can play?
Yeah, I think he can play in this league, but as I did yesterday, we're making a change here for us moving forward.
Are there things that you have seen in practice, we don't get the benefit of seeing practice now, and from you and your coach's eyes, see from Daniel that convinces you that he can make this transition?
Absolutely, because the bulk of his work in our eyes happens behind the scenes, just like the bulk of all of our work happens behind the scenes. When I walk to the stadium at whatever time on Sunday, right? I don't know when it is, 2 hours or 3 hours before the game. I was still here at the building at 5:30 drinking coffee. So that's just an example of what we do is really behind the scenes. And I think that's what we are doing as coaches and as players. And then we evaluate it, we put the guys out there, and we go play.
Pat, do you think having Eli on the headsets in camp on Sunday, with you, helping Daniel be a uniquely different advantage? Because there's not many 16-year quarterbacks are on headsets in regular season games like that. You started last week.
Yeah, I think it's terrific. I'm trying to answer your question because I don't see the awkwardness to that or the advantage or the disadvantage. I see here's a guy that knows what he's doing, knows our offense, and if we have one ankle injury, he's in there. So it's just a matter of, and then when Daniel comes off, they're going to discuss what's happened as we move forward, just like we would normally do.
Well, he can give a good perspective on how it
Sure. Both equally as good.
How much of the balance was
been conscious of the locker room.
Absolutely.
What kind of message you get? Did you, separate from the quarterbacks, after talking to the team in general as to why you were making the move, and share with us why you were confident? I assume you were confident that they would embrace Daniel the same way they embraced you.
In some ways, this decision was separate, but in many ways it was connected. And the reason I say that is we're all connected in what happens. And we haven't done anything well enough to win the first 2 games. So they're well aware of the fact that everybody in the room has to do what they do better. So yes, I did have that conversation with them.
Do you feel like this team believes, the same as you do, that you are moving forward with Daniel to win a football game, that this isn't throwing up a flag and saying we're on to 2020?
Absolutely. Again, that's a narrative that I don't understand. We're on to playing Tampa Bay. I don't want to steal somebody else's phrase, but we're on to playing Tampa Bay, and that's where our focus is in the 2019 season. That's where we're at. We all realize there's a lot of football left to play, and you can see the uncertainty that a team faces each week. And get a little juice, you win a football game, who knows what's going to happen.
What do you say to the notion that some of this organization's former players have raised, at least that Eli is being scapegoated for problems in the first two games that really weren't his fault? Defense had shortcomings, that you were short at receiver. What do you say to the notion that this is a scapegoat?
Well, I think I just answered that notion when I spoke to Art's question, that none of us have done what we need to do to win 2 games. So that's what I would say about that notion. I don't believe in the scapegoat thing. Put that with halftime adjustments. You adjust as you go.
How difficult did Daniel make the decision going into the regular season? Because obviously what he did in the preseason, was there ever a thought that, this kid is ready now, or did you just have to see something in the first couple of weeks?
Well, I'm just going to go back to what I said all along, and I believed my words, and some folks didn't, that Eli was our starter and we were moving forward getting Daniel ready to play. And that's how we started the year, with the idea that we were going to go out and win our first 2 games. It's just that simple.
Pat, what should the fans expect?
By now, everybody should understand I try to keep these kind of things simple. I think trying to confuse the issues here is not good.
What should the fans expect from Daniel Jones in your mind?
He's a young, competitive guy that's going to fight, and I think he's going to display the toughness, the skill and ability that we saw when we drafted him.
Are there any other
Significant
significant changes
changes, not that I know of.
defensive starters will remain the same?
Generally speaking, yeah.
Pat, what were the qualities, or was there a moment where it clicked for you when you told us Daniel was ready? And what did he do that then tipped you to the point where you said, hey, when we need him, he can go?
Right.
What did he do?
Had we needed him in the first 2 games, he could have gone. So I feel like he's ready to go, and everybody around him's got to do what they can to support his efforts.
Pat, when you talked to us Monday, did you know, but out of respect for the principals, you didn't tell us Monday because Tuesday had to come with conversations?
This is about respect too. I think, and I hold this organization in high regard, and we're always about respect. And so where we frown sometimes is when, we're going to find a way to start winning games, right? And earn the respect of winning. But behind the scenes, we're about respect. And so I wanted to make sure I went through this process the right way. And I'm gonna hang on that word.
Hey Giants fans, Saquon Barkley here. You want to see more videos? Subscribe below.
Welcome to Giants Postgame Live, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Another game, another wow.
Great blocking up front, created a great hole for me.
We're going to hear from Eli Manning.
That's a good feeling to have in the locker room.
They had a sense of purpose.
All hands on deck.
We got a lot more to come here on Giants Postgame Live.